We're being joined all the way from London in the United Kingdom by a good friend of mine and an Algerian football journalist. Dean Ammi joins us tonight. Dean, thank you so much. Good to see you, my friend. It's been a while. And thank you so much for coming through. But now this is a great time to come through because once again, these two teams, Algeria and Nigeria, they face off again. These two teams know each other very, very well. And they both have, interestingly, the only 100% records in this competition so far. Both teams have won 4 straight games. And as they say in boxing, on Saturday, somebody's O has got to go. So let's start with Algeria now. Looking really sharp, really good. It took them a while before they eventually broke down the Leopards of Congo in that quarterfinal game, but they eventually did it. And you might be missing the services of a very key player, that's Benacer. So talk to me about this Algerian team. What makes them so good so far, considering the fact that they were very poor at the last 2 Africa Cup of Nations?
Yeah, good evening. Well, I think what's made a really big difference in this AFCON compared to the previous 2 AFCONs is the fact that we are playing in North Africa, in Morocco, of course, neighbouring Algeria. And a lot of the games we have seen the North Africans have very heavy crowds in the stadiums. So for Algeria in Rabat in the first 4 games, it's pretty much been like playing at home in front of many, many Algerian fans. You hear the crowd roaring them through extra time. So certainly, I think the crowd is kind of playing a sort of a semi-home advantage for these players. Secondly, Algeria have always been a team about confidence. If we win the first game, we tend to have a good tournament. Those previous cups in Cameroon and in Ivory Coast, we didn't win the first game and it went to pieces. This AFCON, we won the first game and it's gone from strength to strength. We changed the whole 11. Lots of changes in the last game against Equatorial Guinea and still managed to win. And that confidence just breeds even more confidence. A bit like Nigeria when they made all those changes against the Ugandans, but yet they still looked to be a very solid team and win very convincingly. And I think this confidence is why both teams have obviously won 4 and lost none. But like you say, someone's O has to go. And defensively, Algeria have looked solid. Lucas Zidane hasn't conceded a goal at this tournament because Mandrea came in for the 1 goal conceded against Equatorial Guinea. But we're feeling confident, I think, coming off the back of such a late victory against Congo. The Congo performance wasn't amazing, but it's sort of the way we did it late on. The sucker punch, if you want to use another boxing analogy, it's given the team a lot of hype going into this one.
Well, but let's talk about Vladimir Petkovic, the coach of the Algerian national team. He's actually superintended over some really good results, some really good performances as well. What has he brought to this team that's different from the previous coaches?
I think Petkovic has a lot of big game, big tournament experience. When you manage Switzerland for 7 years, you go to World Cups, you go to Euros. Of course, in the Euros in 2021, he knocked out France in the last 16, who at the time were world champions. And that little bit of experience in game, I think tactically, he's a lot better than Belmadi was. Of course, Belmadi is an Algerian coach, is a local coach. It's a very passionate coach. I think Petkovic, of course, not being from the country he's managing, he hasn't got as much passion, but tactically he's far more aware. And what Algerians feel is if we are 1-0 down in a game, we don't need to panic. If you look against Congo, it was 0-0 for a long time. We never felt the need to panic. You see him throw on Boulbina and Zerouki in the last 5 minutes of extra time. Zerouki gets the assist and Boulbina gets the goal. So that bit of tactical experience on the touchline is something we missed, I think, in previous tournaments, and it could get us over the line.
I talked to you about Riyad Mahrez. We know he was taken off by Petkovic in 20 minutes to go against DR Congo. We know that age also has played its part, but he's also been a very loyal servant to the Phoenix over the years. But do you think he's also going to get, a reduced role against Nigeria come Saturday evening? Remember, he was the guy who did the damage in 2019
yes.
when we last met at the AFCON.
You don't want to remind us about that one. I think my producer is actually quite a wicked fellow. He's going to roll that any moment from now. And that last-minute free kick in 2019, brilliant stuff that eventually won that semi-final between Nigeria and Algeria. So does it bring in that fear factor? And also remembering the fact that Ibrahim Matza has also been a brilliant servant. He's done so well as well. Mohamed Amoura has also been really great as well. So, but Riyad Mahrez, is he going to be started for fear factor or for the experience that he brings?
I think it's a little bit of a combination of the two. Certainly, Riyad Mahrez will start this game. He is, of course, the captain of the national team, but there's no way he's going to play the full 90 minutes. I think you're going to see 60, 70 minutes from Mahrez, and then he'll be withdrawn. And I think when you're in that tunnel coming out in Marrakech and you look to your side, if you're a Calvin Bassey, you're looking over your shoulder and you're seeing a Riyad Mahrez, it does give a little bit of aura in that tunnel. But he came off after 60 minutes against Burkina Faso. He came off after 70 minutes against DR Congo. This is a man that is going to come on, try and do his stuff in limited time, and then he will be withdrawn for Hadj Moussa on that right-hand side. In fact, many Algerians actually want Hadj Moussa, can you believe, to start over Mahrez against Nigeria, despite the fact that Mahrez has 3 goals for Algeria at the tournament and is our top scorer. But I think, again, like with Petkovic with the experience on the touchline, Mahrez brings that experience on the pitch. And actually, when Mahrez was withdrawn against Congo, then if you've seen the images, he became a little bit of an assistant coach to Petkovic and was trying to tell him what to do and suggest some changes. So I think Mahrez can have an influence on the pitch and both off of it as well.
Okay, so let's talk about some things that happened off the pitch. Of course, the rather unsavory incidents where Amoura was taunting, seeing taunting in the Algerian fans, especially that super fan, Patrice, what's his name again?
Was making Lumumba?
No, Lumumba was yes, taunting Lumumba. But what's really great to see, the Algerian FA actually get into the action, invite him to their team hotel, also presented him with a jersey. I think it's probably Amoura probably doesn't actually know his history quite well, because if I'm correct, in the city of Blida, there's actually a Patrice Lumumba garden named after him, and both countries actually suffered under occupation of foreign powers. So, but it's good to see how that was cleared up as quickly as possible. But do you think that might have incited fans against the Algerian national team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the events moved very quickly. The game ended, and then the following morning, Mohamed Amoura issued a statement on social media apologising and reiterating that he did not mean to cause any intentional offence to both the superfan and to the people of Congo. But I think what it's done is kind of galvanised the continent, and it might even give Nigeria a bit of ammunition that when Amoura is running at those Nigerian defenders, of course Amoura is known for his pace, I wonder if there'll be an extra tackle, an extra knock on Amoura to bring him down. Maybe the crowd might jeer a little bit when he's touching the ball, maybe a bit of booing. But certainly in terms of off the pitch, yes, Amoura obviously didn't know who the guy was at the time and what he stands for. Emotions are running high. You've just won the game in the last minute of extra time. You are celebrating all over the place. You're on cloud 9. So clearly, Amoura wasn't obviously thinking 100% at the time. He was probably high on adrenaline, but that situation was very quickly rectified, and hopefully we'll focus on matters on the pitch rather than off it next time.
Amen to that.
Yeah, then let's talk about Lucas Zidane. That's the son of the legendary Zinedine Zidane. We've also seen Zizou at the AFCON, taking one of those Algerian games. I think that was in the group stages of the competition. How good has it been for you? At a point in time when he came through to the national team, I thought was third choice. Then he started, coming up.
People actually called him a Nepo baby, right?
Yeah, maybe it was a guy who was earning a privilege because he's Zidane's son. But do you think he's really earned his place as the first goalkeeper for the Desert Foxes as you approach this game on Saturday against Nigeria?
Yeah, again, the events to get Lucas Zidane in goal unfolded very quickly. Anthony Mandrea was the number 1 at the last AFCON and was the number 1 after that AFCON, but a string of poor performances led to him getting dropped. Alexis Gendouzi became the goalkeeper for Algeria, the number 1, but then he picked up an injury just before the competition started in the Algerian league, so he wasn't in the squad. So Lucas Zidane very quickly became the number 1 goalkeeper. I just think there's a little bit of aura when Zinedine Zidane's in the stands. You don't want to let him down, right? And Lucas Zidane showed that. He's played 3 games in goal at this cup. He hasn't conceded a goal yet. 3 clean sheets for him. But it's going to be very, very difficult for any goalkeeper when you're going up against Osimhen, Lookman and Akor Adams. He's going to be losing a lot of sleep over that, let me tell you.
I know you try to be modest, considering the fact that the Super Eagles also carry their threat as well. So that would be interesting to see. But historically, it's always been very close encounters between Nigeria and Algeria. I mean, even at the Africa Cup of Nations, this is one of the glamour ties of the Africa Cup of Nations. Make no mistake about it. Both teams have bet 9 times at the AFCON, 1-4 apiece, 1 draw. So something has to give this time around. I don't know who it's going to be, but hopefully it should be a good game. But this is how it's looking like 9 games at the Africa Cup of Nations. I beg your pardon. That's in totality. Nigeria has won 9 games, drawn 3, lost 10 historically against Algeria. So it's been very, very, very close. So that's what you can see on your screen. But let's talk about the other matches in this quarterfinal, Dean. There's Mali versus Tunisia. I beg your pardon. Mali versus Senegal. That's a great game. 2 West African brothers who know each other quite well. Ivory Coast versus Cameroon, and also the Pharaohs against the mighty
Elephants.
Yeah, exactly. So that's some really good games to look forward to as well. Cameroon versus Morocco, another really good game. Egypt versus Ivory Coast. Algeria versus Nigeria. Mali versus Senegal. Let's start with Cameroon versus Morocco. The pressure to win this Africa Cup of Nations is palpable on Morocco. For Cameroon, nobody expected them to get this far because of the issues that they had. But do you think that the Cameroonians have it in them to upstage Morocco?
Well, I certainly think we're going to see a very different game to the previous games Morocco have played. Morocco have played 4 teams that have gone to their stadium in Rabat in front of 70,000 Moroccan fans, and every team that's gone to that stadium has sat back against Morocco. Cameroon won't do that. They'll go there and they'll go there to play, and they'll go there to win, and they'll go there with nothing to lose really, because as you said, no one really gave Cameroon much of an opportunity going into this competition. I suspect it's going to come down to fine margins in this one. Maybe a little VAR decision going someone's way could be what swings this game. But Ryan Mbeumo is going to cause that Morocco backline problems, because they've got a couple of injuries in defence. Morocco, they've been playing Adam Messina there, a fullback from Watford, suddenly finds himself paired with Naif Aged. It's going to be a really good game. But Cameroon really are like a bit like Nigeria really. I'd only remind you that they're not going to the World Cup. But Cameroon, this is all they have really this year. They've got this AFCON, and then they're going to have the summer off. And of course, they did lose their World Cup playoff in Morocco as well. So certainly they want to go there and make an impact. Because like I said, no one's really given Cameroon a chance. And one thing I'll say about Cameroon is obviously Onana was one of those big players left out of the squad. Passie's come in goal and he hasn't looked convincing, and I think Morocco may use that to their advantage.
Okay, Dean, we're hard pressed for time, so it's quick fire time now. Egypt versus the Côte d'Ivoire. Who are you picking for that one?
I think Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast
defending their crown for a little bit longer.
Okay, so Mali versus Tunisia. Who are you picking for that one?
Mali, Senegal.
Mali, Senegal. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, I think Senegal will be comfortable there.
Okay, Algeria versus Nigeria. Who are you picking? Use your head, not your heart.
Yeah, well, I think we have run out of time now, so we'll have to move on from that one.
Dean Ammi, thank you so much for coming through tonight on Game On. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully, we'll be reviewing this game later on, hopefully by Monday, when it's all done and dusted and the dust has settled. But thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dean. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, good night. Thank you.